Hey guys, it's MJ, and I want to talk about the Fool today. This is an energy that, it's Saturday as I'm recording this, and when I think about Saturdays, this is the energy that really comes to my mind. It's a day of hopefully getting to sleep in, although that is rarely ever the case, but just sort of allowing for events to unfold, being less rigid than, say, during a work day or a weekday. So, maybe your Saturday is Monday. When I used to be a server in a restaurant, and I used to work retail, and my weekdays or my weekends sometimes were Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So however this looks for you, whatever day is your day off, think about that as like your Fool energy day, where you get to just sort of let things happen without expectation. So looking at the Rider-Waite deck here, we can see there's this person who's wandering around. They're holding this little white flower. And for me, this symbolizes taking time to smell the roses, enjoying life, connecting with nature, being part of it, almost feeling that, that sense of illumination that you get when you connect with divine in a natural setting. When you go out into the woods and you're standing, amongst the trees, and they're so tall and they're so towering and you feel so small. That's that connection to divine, when you feel like you're part of something bigger. And so that's what I get here with this Fool energy. It's sort of just going with the flow. It's allowing the natural course of events to take place, understanding that life is a marathon and not a sprint, and enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, and not always looking like what's ahead. It's like having that faith that everything is going to work out. We have this little dog here, and this dog is to be there. It's that fear. It's to say, hey, whoa, you need to step back. Wait, fall back into what society's telling you to do, or hey, you need to take care of responsibilities. And so, the Fool does have this lovely, just go with the flow energy, and it really can help you during times of struggle or change, really. I mean, when you're looking at change, having the Fool energy with you is going to keep you, keep you from freaking out, frankly. But there's also that tendency with the Fool to, if you lean into it too heavily, you can become irresponsible or inconsiderate to other people's feelings or needs, for that matter. The Fool is that, well, it'll happen when it'll happen, and I have faith in the universe, and the universe will take care of me. But you may also need to be able to pay your bills. So here, that's where I see how I interpret this card. I see these waves here that almost look like mountains. And when I think of mountains, I think of obstacles. And so when I think of obstacles with the Fool, I think that obstacle may be either getting into that space of being able to relax and let things unfold naturally, or the obstacle may be that you're doing that to an extreme at the detriment of perhaps a goal or a situation that you want to, have a positive outcome for. So when I'm looking at this card, I see, he's on a journey. You can tell this, or she's on a journey. There's a little satchel. The sun is high in the sky, giving you this like white, positive heat energy that comes off to almost protect and to guide you along your journey. The yellow background here, again, is that warm, passionate sun as you embark on something new. When I approached the Fool for the Crow Tarot, you can see it's very different. The colors are very different. I wanted to create this softness with the Fool. And you can see here this crow. My idea of how the crow would approach this Fool energy would be not walking along, but actually hopping onto a log and letting this log take it where it needs to be without feeling a need to jump up and fly ahead to look at what's around the bend. Instead, this crow is enjoying the whole process. It's leaving behind perhaps something that wasn't so fulfilling, or leaving behind events that just didn't fill its soul, and it's looking forward. There's a sense of optimism here. It's looking forward to a time of abundance and prosperity and joyfulness and just comfort, overall comfort. The flowers I used here are the lotus flowers, and that's the symbol that connects to divine energy. You can see the wind. I used the wind here to replace the dog. The wind is giving this howling warning to the crow, like, whoa, a storm is brewing, so you might want to hop off that log, but the crow stays sure-footed. And when I created this, the word that kept coming to my mind is buoyant. You know, the log is buoyant. It goes up and down, and so does the crow. So I used to work with a lot of HR professionals in the hospitality industry. That's what my previous life, in a previous life. And one of the things they would say to me over and over is like, you know, we're looking for somebody who can be buoyant, who can go with the flow, who can go with changes when a hotel is going through a restructure or, you know, reconstruction or, you know, just renovations. They look for people who don't freak out during change, who can, you know, adjust their schedules easily, who can, you know, take on new tasks without complaining or looking for a deeper meaning in something. And so that's when I thought about this full energy. I thought about going with a river that, you know how rivers, they're not always smooth or slow moving. Sometimes you know, you hit rapids and you hit rocks or you hit other branches. And so that was my thought here with the Crow Tarot, was the overall message is being buoyant and being able to ride whatever comes at you with a sure-footedness. And so again, though, on the negative side of that is there's a lack of self-preservation. You know, if you stay on that log and it gets too rough, will you have time to react? Or are you sort of just going blindly? So there is that sort of, there's that give and take with the Fool, and I like that because you know, we all want to be able to go through life with this sort of like rose-colored glasses thing going on, but really there are times when you have to you know, approach life a little bit more logically or more of an adult, I guess. And with the wise dog, I took the imagery, and you can see here of my decks, the wise dog is the only one who basically that I use that replicated the imagery of the Fool, or almost replicates it. It's the same posture of this dog, and he's following this butterfly. I just imagine this Jack Russell Terrier just being a bit of a goofball, you know, and not paying attention to the snake that may be in the grass right here. You know, it's paying no attention to it. It doesn't bother it, right? This wise dog doesn't see that snake as a threat, and it may be, it may not be. It's not concerned. All it's concerned with is this butterfly, and we have this crow up in the distance here, and it's the crow is acting as the dog. The crow this time is the warning, and for the wise dog, that crow is your it's your fear masking itself as intuition. So you know how sometimes people say, well, just follow your gut. Well, sometimes your fear can be a trickster, much like a crow, and can be a shapeshifter. And what it does is it masks itself as something that it's not. It says, hey, I'm your gut, I'm your intuition, and I'm telling you to back away from that. What is really going on here, that is your ego, right? That is your ego putting on the mask of divine. And it's saying, I'm going to control you. And so this is where you have to understand with this Fool, with the wise dog Fool, is this danger really a danger? Maybe it's a garter snake, right? Are you letting your fear override your logical mind? Are you letting intuition be, you know, are you being fooled by fear here? So that's the wise dog. Now the Fool for the Grimalkin deck, very similar to the Crow deck in that we have the cat. It's not on a log, it's on a boat, but a cat can't steer a boat, so it really is giving its faith to the boat that it's going to protect it. There is that connection again with the wood and being connected to the world and being connected to nature and to the divine through natural resources. So it's about getting out there, being in water. Again, that's your intuition. The lotus flowers, connection connection to divine. We have the alligator here, which is the a threat that may not necessarily be seen. Is it really there? Is it something that you need to even concern yourself with? The willow tree is going into the unknown and allowing this event to take place. We have the dog over here, and we have the crow. And so the dog may be giving out the warning. And again, this may be your fear center. And the crow, this time for the Grimalkin, is your intuition. And this is where you can see the crow isn't reacting. The crow isn't cawing at all. The dog is reacting. And the crow is saying, stay calm. The crow can see ahead. It knows that there's nothing to be afraid of. Going into this weeping willow tree, you don't know what is ahead. You can't really see. Your vision is blocked, but it's okay because it's beautiful and it's an adventure. It's a journey. With this, I thought of almost like Tom Sawyer, or that traveling down the Mississippi River and just sort of letting things sort of go, and not really trying to control the river, just going with the river. And we have, again, the sun, this bright, bright sun here. And that is a play on the Fool here from the Rider-Waite deck. So there are little elements from each one, in a sense, that are pulled together. But really, it's the wise dog that takes that image most closely. So again, they all are based on Rider-Waite. The message is all there. How the story is told, though, is a little bit different for each of the decks, but I hope you enjoy them. This was one of my favorite cards to create. It's one of my favorite energies. I have a friend who just from a long time ago, and I think of him when I think of the Fool and his guitar, and he would just play the guitar, and he would be up at 5 in the morning playing the guitar, and he just sort of had this, he went to University of Cincinnati, and he was there. He was 28, and he was, I think, still a sophomore, and he'd been going for several years, and he was a perpetual student. And it was like, he just didn't want to grow up in many ways, but there was a lovely quality about him that just, when you hung out with him, it was like you just never knew where the day was going to go, but you always found out, it was always fun. It was always and it was all just wholesome, good-hearted fun. And I was thinking about him when I created these cards. So anyway, much love to you all. Peace, and bye. Bye for now.